Good morning or happy late night, depending on which time you're running on, I guess. I got up about 3 o'clock this morning. It's probably 4 now. I've already done a 35-minute walk. And why, you ask? Because today is close up. Hello. Today is my first day of actual prep for a stage appearance. We'll just say that because I don't really even know what category I'll fall into yet, but it'll happen around the November-December month. And it looks like I'll have some company, which will make it even more fun. So I am now drinking some greens. This is not because I'm plugging this company or anything, just to show you what I actually am drinking. So this is honestly nothing but just a daily dose of vegetables, fruits, amino acids, and a few digestive enzymes. The whole purpose of that, alkalinity, digestion, general health. Why am I drinking that first? Because it's water-based, and getting that stuff in your system on an empty stomach with cold water is one of the best things you can do for your metabolism. I spent a long time as a younger man eating way too much food because everyone told me that's what I had to do. And it's true, you can't grow without having the calories, but the people that I was listening to are jacking, 1.5 grams a test a week, and they'll do something with the 4,000 calories that they're eating. I'm not at my little modest, at the time, 500 milligrams maybe a week. Not advocating taking any performance enhancing drugs or any supplement or any exogenous thing at all. I don't care if it's legal or illegal. That's not the purpose of this channel or this talk. In fact, if you do everything naturally, and by naturally I mean without performance enhancing drugs, protein powder doesn't count. If you're natural, don't freak out. I'm like, oh, you take protein powder or creatine, you're not natural. Those are natural things. Okay, we're talking about like amphetamines for a stimulant. We're talking about Test, Tren, Winnie, Deca, D-Bol, Winstrol, Equipoise, some of the more common androgenic and anabolic aids that people will use in bodybuilding. I think if you can do it well, naturally, you're a better athlete than someone who is enhanced. I don't have the genetics to be unenhanced, so I do take testosterone. It is prescribed, and it is to keep me in the normal male physiological function. So like you're supposed to be between 2 and 800. I sit at 650, right in the middle. And I know that because I get blood work done frequently. So on that note, what am I taking at the beginning of my prep? Because a lot of people will want to know, right? So I take testosterone, like we said, and I take a blend of 4 different esters. So it's a Test 500. There's 4 different kinds of testosterone in it for short-acting and long-acting esters. So there's some in your bloodstream all the time. So there's no big peaks and troughs in your blood concentration, and that's going to do wonders for not only your mood and just your homeostasis, but also just for your ability to build muscle tissue. Staying consistent and having just a little bit in your system is better than big amount, none, big amount, none, big amount, none, and just going back and forth and yo-yoing and having your system kind of all out of whack that way. I've learned that through experience, basically, just trial and error. But as of right now, I divide 500 milligrams a week up into 4 shots. So I take a 1/4 milligram every other day. And then right now I am taking also an oral. It's called Superdrol or Estrol. That I take at 50 milligrams a day when I can stand it and when it's early enough in the day to get put to use. Like if I'm not working out till later in the day and it's like an arm day, I'm probably not taking like a 1/4 to maybe half of that dosage because it is very potent. It is very liver toxic. I can feel my body having to work to filter it, but I can also feel that shit working. Like it makes you very aggressive. It makes you very motivated to lift. It makes you very, very strong. So if you're eating correctly and training correctly, it's easy to see where it's going to help you pack on some serious density. At this point, being 22 weeks and some change away from the date that I have set, right now, at this point, I'm not worried about too much other than not taking stimulants, and I'll tell you why in a second, eating as much food as possible, and just staying as scheduled yet as stress-free as possible. So even though, you know, I'm waking up at 3:30 in the morning, that's because I went to sleep. I was blessed enough to go to sleep early last night. Still got 8 hours in, you know. So I just woke up when I woke up. I didn't have an alarm set. That's just when my body told me I was done. I was rested. I got up and I was ready to do my cardio. I don't, other than a cup of coffee, black coffee. It's not even true. It had a Splenda and some plant-based creamer in it. No sugar, no real sugars in it. So trying to keep the blood sugars as low as possible, keep growth hormone up, keep, you know, my body's metabolism hopefully preferring fat at a low intensity level like that, and walking for 35 minutes. You know, it's a perfect loop in my neighborhood. It's like, it was just meant to be. It just kind of yields itself to being exactly 30 minutes almost, and a good distance. And not something I have to go out of my way to go to. I don't have to go to the gym to do cardio, which is a blessing. I have a nice bike, and I have, you know, feet, so I can do several different types. I'm a believer in high intensity cardio when it can be done at this point with the calories that I'm allowed to eat. Definitely going to be thrown in there at least 1 day a week. I'm going to do what I call like an X Factor workout, where it's plyometrics, kettlebells, a lot more stability and stabilizer work. And that's really just to keep me athletic and versatile, and not just muscle bound and focused on treadmills, you know, certain compound movements and the rest machines. You know, I want to be able to do these dynamic things where my body's stretching, recoiling, functioning as one unit, and doing more athletic movements than just simply curls, bench press, you know, standing dumbbell press, whoop-de-whoop. And I think a lot of bodybuilders, which is what I call myself, because I'm building my body up, right? Like, I don't necessarily want to be 300 pounds at 2% body fat. I don't think that would be a good look for me. Some people might be able to pull that off. You know, if I could ever get to competing over 200 pounds conditioned, I would be giddy. You know, I'd be elated. As right now, I'm right around 180 pounds. We'll do a weigh-in probably later today or tomorrow in the next video, only because I forgot to do an honest one, and I didn't do it before. I drank coffee, walked, and then had, you know, my green. So right now it's not going to give me an accurate reading because it's an electrical impulse scale, so it has to send a bioelectrical impedance reading to your bone and back, and the amount of resistance it has to go through is going to be what it bases its answers on, right? So like your body fat percentage, your extracellular fluid, your muscle mass, your body water, your you know, intracellular fluid, all these different things that the scale gives you digitally, you know, Bluetooth even, dude. All I have to do is turn the app on my phone and stand on the damn scale, and it does the work for me. It's crazy. It's called Arboleaf, and it was less than 30 bucks online, in case you're looking for one. But knowing where you're at, man, is key. Like, the mirror is the ultimate guide. It's the simplest thing, and it's always what I'll refer back to. Like, how do I look? I don't really give it, you know, what the scale says. Bottom line, at the end of the day, what do I look like? You know, what am I going to look like to a judge or to someone who's deciding where my physique is going to fall? So no matter what the scale says, it can always be fallible. So my eyes, I trust. Someone else's eyes, I trust. I have a coach-ish. It's actually a friend, a guy that's going to end up being my competition, I'm sure. But someone that I respect very much, and I'm blessed to have his help as well. Blessed to have a lot of people's help, but this guy, he's going for a pro card. You know, he's no joke. He's been a professional athlete now, and it'll be in multiple sports once he pulls this off. You know, he's one of the most talented people I know. The other person is a family member that I watched get into this sport and climb to a level of hunting for a pro card too, and could not be prouder of him, man. You know, it's cool. And if I got to play any part in like showing these guys early on what bodybuilding was, or that it's possible for people that they know to do, because I mean, these dudes have known me since I've been a little kid. They've known me as a fat, chubby little punk, and a skinny little punk, and then as a more muscular punk in high school and in my 20s. And they've watched me evolve. They've watched me do several things, and they've always been there, you know, asking me questions and giving me thumbs up on whatever it is that I'm doing, man, whether it's bike racing or bodybuilding or just a video, you know. Yeah, and I'll give shout outs to those people by name as I go. I don't want to get too ahead of myself at 157 days away, but it is something I'm committing to, and it's a lot more than just the contest right now. It's a big chunk of my life is these next 4.5, 5 months. I'm doing some schooling at the same time to further my value as a professional. I'm trying to better myself in a lot of different ways and really just get an attainable schedule for my life set that I can follow, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't do good just floating. I have to have a game plan, a rough game plan at least, and kind of know what I'm at least trying to achieve. And for me, there's a lot of different areas in my life where I've struggled with that. And faith or religion, whatever you want to call it, spirituality, that's been one of the areas I've had to find balance in. Personal relationships with my friends and with significant others, that's an area that I've had to find balance in and still struggle to find balance in. Nutritional, I'm an addict and alcoholic. I don't do anything moderately. If I eat donuts, I'm gonna eat 6 donuts. If I drink beer, God knows when I'd stop. If I do cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, whatever you put in front of me, I might get away with doing 1 that first time, but not every time, and I'll keep going. And it's not whether or not I'll stop, it's when and if. And I'm 37 years old now. I'm not a spring chicken. I don't feel like an old man by any means. I still feel like I'm in my 20s, but I'm no longer willing to roll the dice. I'm at a point in my life where I got cat's jealous with how many chances I've had and how many lives I've been given. And it's just to the point where I'm not willing to test it anymore. I value what I have too much. I value the people that have been put in my life today, and I value their feelings. And I know now a lot more how I affect those people, and what I do to myself, even if I think it's just to me and no one else is being affected by this, how much that actually affects them too. And anyone that loves you is always going to be affected by whatever you're doing to yourself, whether it's positive, whether it's negative. And it's as a parent now, and as someone who's grown a little bit of a brain in my later 30s, I have a 17-year-old daughter, and I would never want to see her do anything to herself that would be negative, ever. Not mentally, not physically, not emotionally, not in any way, shape, or form. And it's tough because I missed some years, so I don't have the right really to sit there and be like, hey, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that, and is she gonna listen anyway? No. All I can do is set a good example. All I can do is offer my knowledge, my experience when she asks for it, not when I think she needs it, when she asks for it. That's 2 very different things. By the grace of God, I was given great parental models. They did the best that they could and taught me and gave me some really fantastic opportunities along the way. A lot of them I didn't take advantage of at the time. A lot of them I took for granted, for sure. And I wish I hadn't, and that's just all I can do is try to emphasize that to my daughter and hope that she makes better choices than I did for a large portion of my life. And I have no doubt she will, because she's smarter than I am, and I have no problem admitting that. I don't think any parent ever gets sad when they realize that their kids are better than they are. That's kind of like, well, I can sleep tonight then, because it's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to leave a little human behind that looked like me, that's better than me. And I've done that. So I guess if I had to leave today, wouldn't be all bad. But that's not the plan. I still got a lot of stuff left I want to do. Personally, I'd like to live to 100. We'll see what the man upstairs has in his plans for me, but that's what I would like to see happen. But just for today, in this minute, go hard, do everything I can, make sure that there's no questions in my mind as to anything I could have done better, anyone that I could have treated better, anything that I could have done more thoroughly. I want to make sure that if I'm going to do a job, that I can sign my name by it, feel good about that, and that I'm trying to reach out to help someone else along the way. Those are what I have discovered will give me a successful day every day. A lot of people, I think, feel like they're at the mercy of this world, and that your day is just going to be whatever it's going to be. There's no real place for you to have a say in that, and that's just not the case. There are a lot of things, most things in this world are not in our control at all, but we can control ourselves. We can control our reactions. We can control the way that we respond or react to other people. We can't control people, places, things, or feelings sometimes, but we can control how we react or respond to those things. And so today I choose to be the man that I want to be, which is a happier, more whimsical version of Adam Coleman. I don't want to be serious. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be pessimistic. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to be any of those things, you know. And I should have just said I'm not going to be those things today, because again, that is the choice that I'm making. I'm choosing to get up at 3. I'm choosing to start this video with you guys. I'm choosing to have intentions for this video to not just show how awesome I think I am. It's to try to help someone else, you know, and I hope someone else gets something out of these videos. You know, these videos are intended for educational purpose, educational and entertainment, because I know I'm kind of a goofy son of a bitch. So, you know, there should be some laughs in here for you guys, and hopefully you'll get a little bit of everything as we go, but it'll be a little bit of a roller coaster. You know, I've searched for a long time to kind of find purpose for this channel, the Human Performance Project, and more specifically, I guess, to find purpose for me. And I feel like I know a lot more specifically what that is supposed to be today, or at least what direction I'm supposed to aim. So, you know, if you don't know me, if this is your first time ever watching a video, what's up? My name's Adam, and you know, this is going to be a little journey on my personal development, and hopefully we'll learn about fitness, faith, and just function in pretty much every aspect of life along the way, because it's all about working smarter, not necessarily working harder. And I don't think anybody wants to undertake any project or any endeavor in their life and then come out of it and be like, well, fuck, I could have done that a lot better, you know, or I didn't get out of that nearly what I thought I would. That's a shitty feeling, you know, it's a shitty feeling. So today, we're gonna wait till I get a little more water first, because hydration is key. And these greens taste like yard clippings. Greens and kratom, so it's double yard clippings. If you don't know what kratom is, K-R-A-T-O-M, Google it. Google it, form your own opinion. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's good or it's bad. It's another one of those wonderful things that has tons of function that our government has decided is not needing to be FDA approved, even though it can do countless good things for countless people who suffer in our society. But it's not for me to decide, just for me to share my information. So right now, this prep that I'm doing, like I told you guys about, is going to be interesting, because you're probably looking at this thinking, like, prepping for what? Like, you know, competitive stage dancing, like ribbon dancing, or what? Like, you're not big enough to be a bodybuilder. You're right, I'm not at this point. My other love in life, as far as sports and fitness, is cycling. Bicycle, motocross, cross-country mountain bike racing, downhill mountain bike racing, you name it. Pretty much, if it's got wheels or boobies, I'll handle it. But the types of training that you undertake are very, very different. Bicycle racing, the types that I do, is all proprioceptive rich, increased core stability, very explosive dynamic movements for shorter durations. So what does that mean in English? It means more explosive, balanced, real life type moves, I guess, things that you would do in sport within the actual bicycle race itself. And again, bicycle motocross was my focus, so it's all about power to weight ratio. You know, you want a light bike, you want a fairly light, powerful, efficient body that's fit, flexible, will bounce a little bit off the ground when you hit it, because you will eventually. And hopefully, you know, your recovery and everything is on par, which just means that you're well nourished and taking your vitamins, minerals, and getting a good night's sleep. Your growth hormone is where it needs to be, which another thing that I do supplement with are secretagogues. What's a secretagogue? Again, Google it and learn a little bit of your own, but it maximizes your endogenous, your internal growth hormone production. So it's not taking extra growth hormone, it's something that actually works with your body's rhythms to make you produce more of your own. That again is not something that I'm advising you take. There are a lot of variables and a lot of things that you have to check. Your resting glucose, to make sure that your natural sugar metabolism and your insulin resistance are at a normal, when I say normal, a healthy physiological place before you start taking something that is going to grossly upset that at times, because it will change your resting blood glucose. It will change a lot of things. None of them that I'm aware of for the permanent negative though. And I've done a lot of research. I'm still doing a lot of research, both on myself and researching what other people are doing with the same compounds. I really try to make sure things are safe before I start. But at the same time, most of these things are not, that we haven't had the ability to study them for long periods of time. Most of them have not even made it to clinical human trials yet. Some of the SARMs have now and are, and they're showing great promise, and eventually will replace steroids, because I think they have the potential to have fewer side effects and accomplish roughly the same thing. For example, RAD 140, now RAD 150, they found a way to stabilize it better and give it a longer half-life in the RAD 150. But it's almost very, very close to the same efficiency as far as its androgenic to anabolic rating that testosterone is. It's only about 10 points away, as far as I know, from being the same as testosterone. So it is suppressive. It will shut down your natural testosterone production, which will cause problems if you don't know how to restart it and balance your body back out. So again, learn. It's not just oh, I'll take the drugs and I'll get swole. No, it's you take the drugs, you're changing your body's chemistry potentially forever, and they will give you the ability to make more usage out of your training, your nutrition, your supplements, and your recovery if you're doing all those things right. If you're fucking off and you're getting 3 hours of sleep a night and living off beer and Twinkies, you still ain't gonna look good, my friend. In fact, you might look worse if you try to take drugs and live a lifestyle like that, because your internal organs are gonna hate you, your muscle tissue is gonna hate you, your brain is gonna hate you, and you're gonna eventually break down, fail, and potentially hurt yourself very seriously. So I would highly advise, it doesn't matter what it is, guys. If you're screwing around with street drugs, booze, performance enhancing drugs, even over the counter things, you know, I got gyno, the beginnings of bitch tits from over-the-counter pro hormones before they were illegal, okay? And those were supposed to be safe, side effect free. They're safer than steroids. No, they're fucking not. No, they're not. They are just as hard, if not harder, on your liver, and they will cause the same problems, okay? And the fact that they don't tell you that, or that you're never told that, or that, I guess I'll take personal responsibility. I didn't go far enough in researching on my own when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, and thought I needed some of this shit, and I didn't. You know, I fucked myself up, and now it's something that I have to be careful of. Every time I take testosterone, I have to have an aromatase inhibitor on hand. Not a SERM, not a selective estrogenic receptor modulator, different chemical altogether. Those are useful, but that's not what I need. I have to have something that has a suicide AI, anti-aromatase AI compound. And what I mean suicide, it stops the production of estrogen completely. Which may sound like, oh, why wouldn't everyone just take that? Because it's a cancer drug. Because if men take it, they basically go through menopause. You get hot flashes and mood swings and your joints dry out and you feel shitty. So why would you take that if you don't have to? Especially when, oh yeah, estrogen is necessary for you to have any kind of a gain whatsoever, for you to have a sex drive, for you to have a normal body fat ratio that's gonna allow you to not have crispy, crackly joints all the time. You know, you need fluid, you need some balance of these hormones in your body. That's why they're both present, because they're necessary, not because it was an accident. You know, our bodies are beautifully and wonderfully made, man, and they are very resilient and they're very tough, and they can adapt to situations that we haven't even thought to put them in yet. But that doesn't mean you should force it. You know, it doesn't mean you should be like, you'll bounce back, you'll be fine. Just take a little more of this. You know, that's not how it works, man. You got to respect the one vessel that you're gonna have throughout the course of this time on this earth, man. You don't get another one. It's not like it's a loaner or it's on lease. You know, just give me a new one every couple years. It's not how it works. So we treat it like that when we're younger. At least I did. I don't want to speak for everyone. But now, again, being 37, being older, I have discovered, especially when it comes to these types of compounds that we're talking about, anabolic, androgenic, SARMs, SERMs, AIs, etc., less is more. Okay, if you can achieve the desired result with less than what you had originally thought, do it. Do it. It does not make you less manly to only have to take a quarter milligram or a quarter gram of test a week than someone who's taking a gram or a gram and a half. That's not manly. That's sad. You know, Either you're getting bunk test, you've totally exhausted and confused your receptors, so you're not responding to it well anymore, or you just are unlucky and don't have a lot of androgen receptors in your body. If you can take a 1/4 gram a week of test and start to put on weight and feel results, and you feel better, your libido's up, your energy's up, your sleep improves, your mood improves, all these things, which is what happens when men are low on test. They're not necessarily like just little sissy softies. Like, they're depressed, snappy, angry, sleepless, pissed off people who sometimes will self-medicate with other stuff because they don't know that it's testosterone. So they start using speed or some other prescription drug that their doctor gives them, because doctors, for whatever reason, as brilliant as they are, and they are, our Western medicine physicians don't know shit about hormones. I don't know why it is. I don't know why it is, but it is. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm basing this off personal experience, not just someone else's experience. I have asked a doctor when he was taking my blood and was already going to run a full panel if he would be sure and check my testosterone. We were discussing depression. Okay, we were talking about depression. That's what they were taking my blood for. And he looked me dead in the eye and told me, well, what does that have to do with depression? What would your testosterone have to do with depression? And I thought he was joking at first. I was just like, oh, you're serious? Like, okay, never mind. I'm not even gonna try to have this conversation. I'll just go find another doctor, because it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and argue. You can't fix stupid. And if a doctor's gonna sit there and tell me that my master male hormone that affects everything about my body and my being isn't gonna play a part in me being depressed, he's a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but I mean, I haven't gone to med school, and I know that that's just wrong. He's wrong. You know, we might have checked my test, and it might not have been my test. Maybe my test was at 600 and it was at a perfectly fine level. What does it hurt to test it? It's my blood. You're doing these tests for me as the patient. If I ask you to check something because I'm concerned about it, your answer should not be that has nothing to do with it. That's not okay. Okay, even if it doesn't, check it anyway. Okay, you're already taking my blood. How much extra time is that really gonna take you, my guy? Not much. So, it's your body. It's because you go into a hospital or a doctor's office or a therapy office or whatever professional office you're in. Those are human beings. They're not better than you. They have a different set of tools. They have a different educational level, hopefully, but they don't know you. They don't know your body. Let me tell you who knows your body better than anyone else on this entire planet. You do, whether you realize it or not yet. And I challenge you today to spend some time tapping in to that body. Really ground yourself and ask yourself, how am I feeling? How's my digestion working? How's my blood pressure? How's my mental well-being? How is my what is it? I'm blanking right now, but you're being present, mindfulness, there we go. You know, am I able to think clearly and be in the moment now and not have my brain squirreling after what I'm gonna have for lunch next Thursday and what my ex-girlfriend might be doing? You know, what am I doing right now? I'm having a conversation with my phone to put on my YouTube channel to educate, hopefully, anyone that watches it. That's all I'm doing right now. Nothing else matters. Not what my meal one is gonna be, not how long it's been since I woke up, and oh my God, am I on time? Did I turn off just stop. We're here right now. This is what we're doing. I'm talking to you, you're listening to me. Stay right there, please. Actively listen. Just slow down, be in this conversation, hear what I'm saying, actually hear it, listen to it. Don't just hear the wah, 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 and then you go, huh? Yeah, totally. No, just listen to what I or anyone else says to you, stay engaged in that conversation, and then go on to the next task from there. I guarantee you it will do wonders for you. It has for me, because I'm real good at being on autopilot and just cruising on to whatever I'm doing an hour and a half to 2 days from now. And that's not uncommon. If that happens to you, you're not doomed, you're not special. It's a very, very, very common problem. I would say that most of the world, I don't know what percentage, but I've heard somewhere recently that the average person cruises through about 47% of their day on autopilot. What do I mean by autopilot? You ever driven somewhere, like home after work or home after a night of partying or something, and gotten home and been like, I don't even remember driving, like how did I even get home? Not a blackout, because that's different, but just kind of being like out of it. And like you're where you're driving, but you're on autopilot. You're just headed home because that's what you know to do. That's being on cruise control. And people live a lot of their life that way, man. Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Time is our most precious but our most wasted resource. And it's one that we'll never get back. In fact, time reclaims us, okay? We can't reclaim time. Time will reclaim us because we run out of it at some point. Our time's up. We all have an expiration date on us. We're not gonna be here forever. And that should be both a motivating and a comforting factor, you know? Don't be afraid. Just let it keep you in gear. Do what you can today, you know? It's all we can do. It's all we can do. We can sit here and worry about what might happen and when we might die and how it might happen. And, you know, if our loved ones might die and how it might happen. And just freaking out all day. Never leave the fucking room, you know? Afraid to check the mail, afraid to answer the phone, afraid to do anything because I might die. Not a healthy place to be. Not some place you should be, you know? Find your why, find your higher power, find your purpose. These are things that you have to have in life. You have to have a purpose or what you think your calling is. Me personally, I think it's helping people. I think it's healing people. I think it's on the physical level that I'm supposed to do that. So like physical therapy, chiropractics, personal training, massage therapy, things of that nature are where one of my gifts that I was given, or one of the gifts that I was given. And there are no negative gifts or unspiritual gifts. There's only gifts that we misuse and don't understand yet. So I'm learning more all the time about how I can help people. And sometimes it's not what I need to do, but what I need to be. A better listener, more patient, more aware, more understanding, more empathetic, more disciplined, whatever it may be. Sometimes I don't need to do anything. Sometimes the best action you can take is not doing a goddamn thing. But always being aware that you're not here for you. You're here for everyone else. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form, whether you like it or not. You play a part in this earth. You play a part in this existence. Figure out what that is and participate with the world, man. Don't hide it. You know, you have a gift that the world deserves to see and share, whether you know it yet or not. I'm telling you, and if I'm the first one to ever tell you, awesome. But believe it, man. I don't even know you, but I'm speaking to you. And if you think I'm bullshitting, message me. Come and see me. You know, we can talk on one-on-one because I am willing to do that. And there is no one I will ever turn away if you honestly want to talk or need help or a better understanding of anything that I say. So in addition to hitting the like and subscribe buttons at the bottom of this channel, you know, reach out to me and message me. You can find me on social media, only on certain social medias though. I don't have fucking TikTok, I don't have Snapchat, I don't have LinkedIn or Linktree or whatever the newest thing is. I am on Facebook and I am on Instagram, and that's about it. That's where I'm gonna stay, other than here in the real world. And even those modalities I don't overuse. I think that they're incredibly addicting, and I think that they're a huge waste of time for a lot of people. And like I've already said, you know how I feel about time and how I feel we should all kind of view our relationship with time and that we're given, because it's a gift. It's not something we're entitled to, you know. It's not something we're entitled to more of. It's a gift. So use it like that today. Say thank you. Find that higher power I was talking about too, after your purpose. Higher power, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, this is gonna be about God, great. Like, tune out. Don't do that. I don't care if you don't like the God word. You know, that's what I call it, because that's what I'm comfortable with. And that doesn't mean a man with a gray beard in the clouds, you know? Like, my God looks different to me than your God might look to you. It's a personal relationship. It is a personal relationship. And I can't tell you that any one way or thought process is right or wrong, but I can tell you, if you live your life understanding that you're not your own higher power and that you're not in control of this world, it takes a lot of pressure off. And things just seem to go a little bit better, because I am the master of just trying to muscle and bend things to my will. You know, even riding a BMX bike, man, I used to just try to muscle that fucker and just like make the bike go where I wanted to go. Don't work that way. Sometimes you got to try less to go faster and just let the bike ride you. Just react to wherever it goes, you know, and just stay fluid, stay with it, be ready. Don't be tense. Don't try to force it to go right here, right there, because it won't work. You'll crash. Or at least scrub off speed, slow down, and lose. Either way, you're not getting done what you want to get done. You know, you got to roll with the punches a little bit sometimes, and if a certain portion of a task doesn't turn out the way you thought it would, that doesn't mean you stop the task. It means you reevaluate why you're doing it and how it's going to turn out with the current results that you have so far, right? You can fail at things you don't love doing. So you damn sure may as well just do the things you love in this life and hold on tight to those, you know? Because if you're going to fail, if there's a 50-50 shot that you're going to fail, even if you take the safe route in life, you might as well just go all in, man. Go for what you want. It's only crazy until it works the first time. You know, everything great that has ever happened in our world, the people that accomplished it, the seconds before they accomplished that, were fucking lunatics. The Wright brothers, you know, the first people to ever cross any type of mountain range or river or Atlantic Divide or any of these geographical boundaries that we never thought were even attainable to reach, let alone exceed. We're so far past that now. We're like, let's try to land on the moon. Let's try to live on the moon. Let's try to live on other planets, you know? And someday I'm sure we will. I probably won't see it, but we're getting closer. I just hope we last that long. I hope we don't exterminate ourselves in the meantime. But yeah, the higher power, your purpose, and your why, or your reason for being, your backup when you run into something that's bigger than you in life, because you will. And if you don't believe in something that's bigger than you, you're gonna run into something bigger than you, and it's gonna stomp you into the ground, because you're not gonna have any help. You're not gonna have anything to fall back on. You know, it's what God is for me. When it's too much for me, when I can't do it by myself, when I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, I stop, I ask for help, you know, and I get it. It may not always appear the way that I thought that it would, or that I thought I wanted it to, but it appears the way that it's supposed to, you know, and if I'm willing to accept that and to listen to that, it's amazing what just falls into place for me on a daily basis, you know. I don't have to muscle things. Just try less, and somehow it works out. Just be willing, be willing. Be willing and ready to work when you're called to, because you will be. You know, and sometimes the call is gonna be just as simple as listening to a friend that needs you. Sometimes the call is gonna be something that you don't think there's any way you could possibly do, and you're like, yeah, right, dude. How could me or any other human undertake this? You can, you know, just ask for help and believe it. When you believe something is the way it needs to be done, it's no longer an option, it's the way. If your brain sees that as the only direction you can take, the only course of action you could follow, it's the way, it's not an option. Okay, and you'll find a way to get it done. You will. Once you believe it, it's no longer impossible. And once it's no longer impossible, go get it. Go get it. You know, it's that simple. If it's something you really want, don't you dare ever let anyone tell you that it's not possible, it's not worth it, or that it's not for you. Just can't nobody else tell you that. That's for you to decide. And I don't know about you guys, but I love proving people wrong. Like I say all the time, the fastest way to get something done, tell me I can't do it, and then just get out of the way and watch it happen, because it's about to. So that again is not because Adam Coleman is some awesome, unstoppable force. Quite the opposite. I'm fallible, I am easily defeated, and I have lots of flaws and character defects, man. But I have a higher power, and I have a circle of friends that have a higher power, and I have a strength around me today that it's unstoppable. It's unstoppable. You know, when I tap into it and really use it, just don't. Just get out of the way. It's already over with. If I'm set on the course and I'm employing all the things that I have in my tool belt, even a few of the things I have in my tool belt, it's a wrap. You know, I'm gonna get it done. It's just a question of when and how. So don't give up, man, and don't set your sights on mediocrity. You know, nobody likes an average motherfucker. Nobody. You know, listen to some C.T. Fletcher. Nobody likes an average person. Nobody likes somebody that's like, you know what, I just want to get a 75%, just a C, and I'll be fine. Fuck that guy. E or S, you know, stay away from me. I want somebody that gets a 97 and they're like, damn, I was so close to perfect. What did I miss? I'm gonna fix this. Not someone who's necessarily unhappy with the 97, but someone who immediately, what did I miss? How can I get better? You only missed 3% of the questions, Tom. Doesn't matter. Get 1% better some way every day, and you will not be unhappy with your life. Guarantee you, things will start to go better if they're not going well already. 1% better in some way every day. It's one of the things I wish I would have listened to. My dad told me when I was probably, 5, 6 years old. Yeah, just be better. Just be better in some way. The way you treat people, the way you treat yourself, whatever it is. Just do something a little bit better today than you did yesterday. And be honest in that. If you screw something up throughout the course of the day, do not be a person that's like, well, I'm not going to apologize until they do. They were wrong too. That may be so. You might not have been wrong at all. You're not apologizing because you're wrong necessarily. You're apologizing or fixing whatever it is because you want to get it off your brain, get it off your headspace, get it out of your heart. If it's sitting there and you're just having to go over it again and again and again and again, and it just keeps popping up, that's a resentment. There's a problem. There's something in your mind that you're not accepting yet. And until you put that to bed, you're not gonna be able to move forward. It's just gonna eat you up, man. So don't live your life with resentments and things in the back of your mind that you wish you would have said or addressed and didn't, because it will eat you alive. It will. It'll manifest itself in some other way, and it'll come out in something that you didn't ever expect or intend, and it'll be too late. So just stop it early. Stop it when you feel it. Stop when something rubs you the wrong way and makes you feel a certain kind of way. Stop right there and figure out why. And again, you can't control other people. You cannot control other people. So sitting there and being like, well, if they would just do this or that, or if they would just do this like me, or if they wouldn't do this, then I'd be fine. No. What did you do? What part did you play in it? Okay? Beyond that, you can't do shit else. Nothing. Nada. Zero. Zilch. So take responsibility for your actions. Sometimes it's best to take responsibility for things that may have not been your action. If you're at work and your boss gives you a project, and while you're doing that project, someone else says, oh, can I help you do this? And you're like, sure. And they help you a little bit, and they do something kind of half-assed and leave it. And you didn't check, you didn't see what they were doing for you, because this is your project, right? But this portion of it over here was their action. And your boss comes back to you and says, I asked you to do this, and this, I see this over here was done really sloppily. Well, Johnny, no, this was your project, okay? It doesn't matter that you said it was okay for Johnny to help you with this little portion over here that you don't like the way it turned out. So instead of blaming right away, you're right, boss, I'm sorry. I didn't allocate enough time or resources to the project to get it the way that I know it should be. I take responsibility for that, and I will fix it as soon as possible. Done. Don't bring someone else into it. Don't blame someone that you said, yes, please help me, and then give them half-assed directions, and now you want to blame them why your project didn't go well? Come on. Be bigger than that. Was it all your fault? There isn't necessarily a fault that needs to be placed. Just take responsibility for it. Just have some huevos. Have some intestinal fortitude, some balls, whatever you want to call it. But just stand up and be like, yeah, you know what? I didn't do that as good as I should have. I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And then make sure it doesn't. That's it. That's all you can do. If they want to say anything to you beyond that, tune them out, okay? Because they're needing to bitch about something for them. It has nothing to do with you. Life has very little to do with you. We think things happen to us. No, they happen, and we are involved in it. It's not the same thing. It's not. We're not that special. Not everyone thinks about what we're doing and thinking and just goes out of their way to try to make our day miserable. And if they do, they're sick individuals, and you need to pray for them anyways. Okay? Be the bigger person. Be the bigger person. Life's too short to bicker and waste energy and time and let people rent space in your head that they ain't paying for. I don't know how to say it any differently, but I spent a lot of years, I'll tell you from my personal experience, because again, this is all I had. I was angry for a long time, and I didn't think I was. I thought I was motivated. I thought I was intense. I thought I was diligently focused on the task at hand. And yet I would have people say to me fairly frequently, why are you so angry? Like, I can just feel anger coming off of you, you know? And then what's my first response? I'm not angry, goddammit. Like, what makes you think I'm angry? You know, it's like, Jesus, I don't know, man. What makes me think you're angry? You can't muscle life. You can't be upset when things don't go your way. You just have to look at how it's going to work to your benefit, or how you can work it to your benefit and move forward. You can't just sit there and think that, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. I, me. You know, it's not a good place to be. Trust me. So, what am I babbling about? Yes, preparation, workouts, all that stuff. So I told you guys a little bit about that I'm not taking stimulants. That's for multiple reasons. Trying to keep my adrenal glands healthy, and I'm trying to keep my metabolism as naturally elevated as it can be, making room for as much food as I can possibly eat. I'm gonna be a professional fat boy right now. All clean foods 90% of the time, but I wanna be able to eat as many calories a day this far out from the show as possible. I'm not torturing myself yet. I'm not eliminating all the things that I love and all the things that I shouldn't be eating. I'm just upping my caloric expenditure and giving my body the optimal chance to make use of the calories, okay, instead of storing them as body fat. That's gonna end up slowing my metabolism down. Right now, roughly, like I said, I'll get a weigh-in for you guys. I started this whole thing at about, it was under 160 pounds. I could not believe it. I can't remember the last time that I've been that skinny. Literally almost every ounce of muscle tissue that I built fell off. I allowed to fall off with just poor dietary practices, living in a shitty hotel for 8 months, and doing drugs. You know, and there were some positives that came out of it. I saved up to buy the condo that I live in and own now, not rent, own. You know, I've eliminated the drugs and started eating better, and you know, have some people in my life that I love and care about, and that love and care about me. And I make sure that I talk to them and pay attention to them and know that they're doing okay on a daily basis, and don't just sit in my little bubble and think about what Adam needs to do next, you know? And life's a whole lot better already, But the reason for not having the stimulants, you can exhaust your adrenal glands and in large part your metabolism just from taking too much caffeine. You know, if you're to the point where you could take 300 milligrams of caffeine, which is like a Bang energy drink, and then go to sleep, you are in what they call adrenal fatigue, my friend. And taking more caffeine is not the answer. Stopping the caffeine and switching over to things like Siberian ginseng, royal jelly, B vitamins, things of this nature, those are going to be much less stressful on your adrenal glands. They're not going to have those adrenocorticosteroids being pumped out in your system where you're just in a fight or flight response all the time, and your body's just like just like on edge 24 hours a day because of all the caffeine you're putting in, and you don't even realize you're doing it. You know, I'm just having a cup of coffee at a meeting. Oh, I'm just having, you know, a midday slump energy drink, whatever. No. If you're feeling fatigued in the middle of the day or before a workout, something is missing. You're not eating well enough. You're not sleeping well enough. You're not balancing something. You're off. You're off. You should be fired up to go off a good night's sleep and a couple thousand calories all the time. You know, if you're not, like I said, you need more rest. You need to give yourself a prolonged break and let your body recover, or you're not doing what you love. If you're not motivated to get in there and grind and keep doing what you're doing and just work just a fraction closer to it every day, you're in the wrong business, man. This is a lifestyle. It's not just a hobby. It can be a hobby, but I don't know any other hobby that you can do 24 hours a day, because literally that's what I love about bodybuilding, right? Like, I'm an all or nothing guy, like we've already said. Another perfect example. If you're in a car that has the old school air conditioner, so you can turn it to red or blue for hot or cold, right? You ain't never gonna catch me with it in the middle. It's either on cold or it's on hot. And usually if it's on high or it's on low. It's not like I'm a middle jet, you know? Like I'm an all or nothing, hot or cold kind of guy. It's just the way I operate. I know that about myself. Now that I know that about myself, I can set myself up for success or failure a variety of different ways by how I set out tasks, goals, interact with people, everything I do. I have to be aware of it, because recovery, not just from drugs and alcohol, but from life in general, is important. Without adequate recovery, you will never grow. You will never bounce back. You will only beat yourself into the ground and die earlier. And that's not what I'm trying to do. We get to come into this world frail and weak, and you will probably leave this world frail and weak. But the way that you live in between, that is entirely up to you. And I choose to be strong today. I choose to be the strongest I can be today. Not just for me, not just because it looks good in a magazine or in a mirror, because it's what I've been called to do. And it's because there's people in the world who aren't lucky enough to do what I'm doing right now, and that would kill for it, literally kill for it, to have my life that I have. The life that I complain about, the life that I always think isn't enough, the life that I always, have said sometimes at points in my life I've wanted to end, but didn't have the balls to do it. That's no shit. I've been very, very low places in my life. And, if you think there's just something you're going through right now that I won't understand, but that no one else will understand, you're wrong, man. You're wrong. Someone out there will understand. If not me, I can point you to somebody that will. So please, if you're struggling, if you're confused, if you just have any questions at all, use me, all right? Use me or someone that you love and trust that you can talk to, because you gotta have someone. You gotta have someone that you can just spill the beans to and let it out, because confession and absolution from the things that we do and the guilt that we carry is mandatory. It's mandatory. As human beings are the only self-loathing animal that I'm aware of. We're the only ones. I don't think there's any lions out there. They're like, man, I'm really a piece of shit. I really shouldn't have done this to, this lioness or to my cub yesterday. I was, too angry with Junior and I smacked him and shouldn't have. Like, no, that doesn't happen with animals. They're very simple, probably because they have a lesser capacity mentally than we do, or so we think up to this point anyway. But humans, we're the only ones that have the real question of why. Why do I do this? What am I? What am I supposed to be? And sometimes that's a beautiful gift to be given, but sometimes we take it and we just turn it into an absolute detriment, and we make it something that is just nothing but negative. Nothing but negative. So try to find the positive in your day to day. I know this has been a super long video. Kudos to anyone that actually watched it. I will be back with a shorter one to describe some training and what my rep range is, what muscle groups I'm working in when, as far as how my split is set up. And I'm gonna get more into the nitty gritty of actually my workouts and explain some of that with my workout partner later today. And hopefully even get some of today's pressing workout. All pressing movements today, so chest, shoulders, triceps, basically, is what's gonna be going down. And that will stay consistent for another couple weeks until the split changes. So thanks for being with me this morning for almost a whole hour. I hope you got something out of this. Again, please like and subscribe, message me, help me keep this going and be more constructive, more helpful. And do me a favor and just make the most of your day today, for you, not for me. But thank you for listening and starting it with me. No one's told you they love you today. I do. You're worth it. Go out there and share yourself and your gifts with the world. Until next time, deuces.